Every year there seems to be a major crisis somewhere. It could be a disastrous tsunami in Asia, the tragic earthquakes in Haiti and Chile, or a deadly hurricane along the Gulf Coast. How could one of those horrible events result in something positive for you or your business or your community? It's been said that when things are at their worst, Americans are at their best. And when American news organizations cover horrible events, they always like to feature some of the heartwarming things that people are doing to help out. When a disaster strikes, there's always a need for food and medical supplies. If you or your organization have the ability to collect supplies and send them to where they're needed, the news organizations are going to want to know about it. But just telling them what you're doing isn't enough. You have to show them what you're doing, and that means make it visual. If you're collecting supplies, let the media know where you will be collecting so that they can send a news crew out to get video. Just showing pictures of supplies that have already been collected isn't visually exciting. It looks like the inside of a warehouse. So think of how you can make the action move. For example, have some of your workers or volunteers show up en masse to pack up the supplies or load them in the back of a vehicle for transport. Make it visual, sort of like an old-time fire bucket brigade with volunteers rapidly passing along supplies. If you want to maximize news, stage something during the news hour so that TV stations can send out a live truck and have a live reporter on the scene. And don't just leave it up to the media to grab an interview with whoever happens to be there. Designate a few spokespersons and think about the message you want to send. Come up with some powerful sound bites. Now remember, these are your spokespeople. They need to be knowledgeable. They need to be able to give the media some good information and quotes on such things as how much have you collected? What kinds of things have you collected? Why did you decide to collect a particular item? If other people want to help, what can they do to help? Why did you decide to help? And have a written news release to pass out to the media when they arrive. If your release gives meaningful facts and figures, that will help them build a story around you. For example, how much have you collected? How long will you be collecting? What's the estimated value of the items? How do you expect this effort to help? When will you ship it out? When will it reach the people who need it? Now, as a reporter, I always found that I could get the best sound bites in interviews from people who didn't rehearse them. I like to interview people who are going to speak from the heart. For example, if I saw an interesting person helping out, I might pull them aside and ask them a simple question, such as, why are you helping out?
I want to give my life a meaning, so I come out here to as well as I've been helping other people. That's why I'm out here. That's why I like it. This is my second home.
It's amazing the kind of down-to-earth, from-the-heart answers that you can get. Now, you may ask yourself, how is a story like this going to help you or your business? And my answer is, you never know. You don't go into a project like this for publicity. You go into it to help. And in a case like this, the one we described, your goodwill will do more than you can imagine. For one thing, it makes people feel good to watch and read about those kinds of things. It may inspire other people to do positive things. These people may not run out and buy your product or services, but someday, some way down the road, they may have the opportunity, and they're going to remember that goodwill that you helped to spread. It may be months, maybe years later. Those news organizations that covered you, they may need a quote or an interview on a related subject. Then they will have you on file and remember how helpful you were. And they may give you a call, which could result in even more exposure.
United States Army.
I know you've seen those retired generals interviewed on television networks for their expert opinions on various military situations. These experts didn't just suddenly become a familiar face to the national television audience because they had a long military career. They built their credibility with the networks by being helpful and resourceful and articulate with reporters who were trying to produce news stories. So the next time you see a news story about a major event, think to yourself how you could become a resource for the media to help them tell a much bigger story. If you care, it will show. And I can't recall a single incident where someone getting positive news coverage and goodwill was hurt by it.